So he also said that, you know, that you paid Black China, right, to be your girlfriend. That was one of the things that he was going with, like the
Yeah, he was trying to trigger me. He was just trying to trigger me. Which is funny because that was another episode where he put my name in the title, Mister quote unquote. I will never give a guy like this any time of day on my show. Nigga, I ain't never even have to show up to your show, and you uploaded me like 8 times. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been on your show that 8 times. You give me 8 shots. Like, I don't know any other rapper that has been on your show without going on your show that many times, bro. Like, I got the most clout. Like, everyone in the No Jumper community knows who Kid Buu is. Even if they don't like me, nigga, I don't give a fuck. I know who I am, though. Mission accomplished. You did it, Johnson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. That was the whole mission. Just to get this.
Yeah, so one of the things is that he said that you went on your stories and you were going off on him, right? And then like he hit you up to ask you for the Addy, and he said you didn't want the smoke at all.
Bro, this nigga, bro, what the fuck? I didn't even see this. He said this. Oh my god. People who know Adam know that's not true. Adam is not. He's not that. He's not that. No, he. I didn't pay China though. Like that was we were actually good friends, bro. We were dating for a bit. Like we were seeing each other. You know, we're real good friends, and we're still cool to this day. Like no one paid anybody for no. That's dumb. That's absurd. If anything, like to be quite frank, she paid for every trip and like that we went on. So that would still, you know, that wouldn't even. She's not gonna pay me to date me. You know, that makes no sense. So no one paid any. That's kind of ridiculous to even say. And as far as me getting triggered is because he's for you to sit up there and say like, hey, this woman's like essentially soliciting herself. And I know, like I said earlier, my statement was everyone does it, but it's like the way you're saying it is kind of like it's grotesque. Like you the way you're like, oh yeah, their mom pretty much just sells herself to any rapper, and it's like, bro, those kids that she has are gonna grow up and very soon in the next 4 years be able to understand this video. Like, what's wrong, bro? Like, you're sitting here like pretty much painting the mom out to be like this celebrity, like high end escort. Like that's what you know. What I mean, the kids can understand that shit, bro. Like, what is wrong with you? And that's what I got at him at. So it wasn't none of that. And then he hit me up and was like on some LOL, like some shit about with an address. So I was like, bro, I took the address and I door dashed him tampons. And I said, nigga, you pussy, my nigga. Like, I got you something because you're probably on your period right now, my nigga. Like PMS and all that shit. Like, you tripping. So I got you a little gift, my dude. And I know he didn't send me no real address anyway, so we Google mapped it and shit with some like slummy ass, random ass crib in Compton. He was probably thought I was gonna be foolish enough to pull up for a setup or alleged setup or to nowhere and just look like an idiot when I get there. Who knows? But I sent just tampons. So some random person in Compton got a box of free tampons that day to their house because whatever address I sent that over.
So do you think that he deserves the criticism that he's received, like as far as like being a culture vulture?
Yeah, I believe everybody deserves anything they get. That's why I said like even with me when he was asking about like the regrets, like no, it's all about how someone digests that energy themselves, how it will affect them. I lose sleep at night. I haven't lost any. I still till before anything, so I got 4 hours of sleep. Until this day, I get 4 hours of sleep. So I still get the same amount of sleep before and after. That's that. As far as him, I don't know how he's personally affected. I still don't even know why he personally began to dislike me. But when someone does that, like when someone pushes, I push back. That's just how I am. So I'm not gonna like, you know what I mean, just let some rando dude see me as a good reason, like clickbait or some shit. I don't know. Because to be real, Adam22, and I got the receipts on this too. We got the screen recordings, we got all this. This nigga was a dick rider, bro. He would go on Humongous HXTXG's page, and it was just back then I would post a lot with like mask, like this and shit. Like I post a lot of mask and shit and clothes. Like before it was a wave, nigga, I was posting with masks like coat and shit before that. And I was always dripped out. Like I said, I had like money and shit. So he went to my page one time on his live and was just like gaga over my photos. And my boys had screen recorded and sent me. That's how I first even knew who he was. Like, who the fuck is this? And they're like, oh, telling me a lot about him. And I was like, I don't know shit about this guy. But I was like, I don't like how he's putting my shit on his internet because I'm really low key. You know, I don't want no fucking feds watching my shit. Who the fuck is this nigga? You know, so I was kind of tight about that shit a little bit, but it was like at the same time, I was like, whatever, like, you know. And then when I started dropping music, I heard again. He was like, boom. He's like, hey, y'all remember that guy? Like, oh, look, he does music. And he was like playing my shit with his girl and his friends in there on the live. You know, I got sent that. So I was like, okay, like, what's up with this dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess he's just one of those white boys, Hollywood. They just overly friendly, trying to be cool, whatever. So I decided the next day to be like, yo, and I was in Toronto. So I was like, yo, if y'all here in Canada don't know about the coolest podcast in America, because that's what his slogan is, I was like, it's No Jumper. Y'all go check it out. And he hit me sideways like, yo, I got 1 million rappers on my dick. I don't need you to try to tell people about my show. Like, I'm good. If anything, I'll give you clout. So it was kind of like an ego thing. And I was like,
Wow.
I was like, yo, are you good? I was like, I don't see how me showing you love gave you a problem, but I say less. Fast forward to the future. I'm at Sauce Walker's shoot. Accidentally, I'm just like, because I'm just browsing through Melrose. They was in the back of the No Jumper shop shooting there. I stopped up, like, I see these guys pouring lean on the floor. I'm like, oh shit, I'm sparking my blunt, just peeping the scene a bit. Some other kids walk up that know me and they're like, oh shit, aren't you? Whatever the fuck. Yeah, I be seeing you with Migos and shit. Like, one kid referred to me as like the shooter. I was like, no, he just thought that like. So I'm chilling, and who pops up? Adam. He's dapping up Sauce and all the guys, and he looks over and he's like, "Oh, ain't you humongous to God?" And I'm like, "You know, I am." Type shit in my head, but I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Cool, man. Nice to meet you, man. Your shit's dope." And just walked away. And it was just weird because I'm like, "Bro, we definitely had that conversation, and you tripped out." And then I kind of was like, "I say that. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, I just know the type of nigga is nigga, like whatever. But I'm not, you know what I mean? That's all that was. I seen him, and he's just like, pretending it's new, like just trying to test the energy. And I guess, I don't know, I guess because I was like being a bigger person and didn't say, yo, what's up with all that internet shit, you know, and was just like, yeah, cool, like Mr. Cool Guy hit my blunt, like, yeah, nigga, you know, I ain't like shit. It was like weird because then after that, didn't hear nothing from him, right? I became Kid Boo, and it was just like this vendetta he had for Kid Boo, and I'm like, does he know I'm humongous to God? And like, I don't know, like, or does he not? And then he mentions it that he knows it was me, so I'm like, then he circles back and tries to shit on the humongous to God based off of Sarah's statements on Kid Boo and tried to mix it and make Kid Boo humongous. And that's when I was like, oh, homie got me fucked up. All right. And then that's when he started hearing stuff like, yo, I heard you're going to put a tracker on your car. Hey, I heard you paid a girl to get your location. Or, hey, man, I heard you had some people try to come in here and try to see if you here. Like, he's not really trying to find you. Like, nigga, if someone is up talking about your business, how you making your money, and that could be fucking your shit. This is before I figured out about the making money off the negative shit, because I didn't figure it out up until later. But before that, you kind of get pissed. You're like, you fucking my business over here, so yeah, I gotta find you and talk to you. You know, I want to talk to you. No one's gonna get hurt. I just want to talk to you. Why are you hiding if you're you know what I mean? If you ain't do nothing. But he knew what he was doing. So it was like pissing me off, man. And then I realized, wait, I could flip this and make bread off this. I started monetizing shit. I started learning that I could send my YouTube thing to his YouTube account, and YouTube will now, because he got my name in the title, he's talking about me, I monetize your video now, nigga. So you thought he was making 2 bands that week talking about me? Nah, run my bread. So that's why he started taking down my videos, because I started just collecting. He's like, I'm not about to have this guy making money off my, I flipped it. I always went like, corporate minded with it. Gilly will put me on, like my Uncle Gilly and Fabian, bro, and my Uncle Earl, like they really put me on like the logistic game in this, like how to not crash out and shit, And Miguel has even brought me over to people like Elliot Range and like Sarah, the manager for Little Peep, whatnot. Like 2 people, like he's brought me to so many that give me insight, give me knowledge on how to do it properly in this and monetize, how to fight it corporately and not be street, like, because doing it too street is going to wind you up in legal issues, more legal issues. But what you do is you give them legal issues. There's certain loopholes and things you can do to really get your money, and that's how you win at the end of the day, is to get paid. That's what all war is about, money. So if you're not making money out of it, then what the fuck are you doing? It doesn't make sense. So going and actually finding him and breaking his legs doesn't make sense. But what made sense was hitting him with cease and desists and collecting and monetizing on shit that's got my name. Don't put my name in your mouth unless you're going to pay for it, because guess what? I copyrighted it now. So it costs now money. You know what I mean? I've made it a brand. Like I said, that's why earlier I don't get emotional, because I found a way to just tie emotions out and make it a brand. So that's why with the Kid Boo thing, it's a brand. So if someone wanted to shit on me, fine. That's why even the Sarah video, she took it down. She realized oh, I got to pay out to this guy or delete. Like, I'm deleting this. This is dumb. So that means everything you're motivated were about money and clout.
Because the way that he makes it seem is like that you just started the shit out of nowhere, and then how he painted that you were there um during that one interview, right? Where your man's like he fell and you helped him up.
No, Adam was already talking shit about me before that. So even then, when I pulled up for Boonk, I pulled up for support for Boonk. Boonk was like, he just chugged a bottle of champagne because he thought he was going to try to puke on Adam to be funny, but it didn't happen that way. He didn't puke. He just got the hiccups and wouldn't puke and was just super drunk and was like, get me out of here. So that's what I did. He called me to be there to help make sure he was safe, so I did. And I put, again, being the bigger person like I did when I saw Adam in the alley during the Sauce video, again, I was like, he's there. This ain't about me and him. My man's, I'm here for my homie. I'm going to just be here about him, you know? And Adam wouldn't say shit either. He just like head down about it. And another time, Trippie Redd tried to have me on, and he was like, nah, I don't want him on. He was like, I'm going to make you pay for that during the interview. And was laughing. And then later poured like a bottle of water over Adam's head. Yeah, and I was just there smiling back from the camera, and I just like turned my head and I walked outside because I didn't even want him to feel like, okay, like I supported what he just did on humiliating him on camera. I was still even like, look, I still don't get what you don't got about me. So even when he got the water poured, I didn't let him see me like that. So when I saw he was going to look up to see like, oh shit, did like Blue just even witness that? My head was already turned and I was already out walking out the door to go light up in the back with like Chris King and his name. So I never really like, I don't know, man. I never like in person. It's just I try to give the chance for that. And even my friends who know him and see him at a party, they'll ask him. He does the whole like disregard silence thing like Vlad did. It's almost like they just get froze and just like if I wait a few seconds, like this person will just change the subject.